So let's now talk about the case study on labor costing. Very interesting case study, and this is a very important question. As a question also, it has been asked in the past examinations, and now it has been put as a case study, right? It's on labor turnover. The board of J Limited has been appraised by the journal manager HR that the employee attrition rate in the company has increased. What is attrition rate? Attrition rate is nothing but your labor turnover rate, right? That is also known as attrition rate. The following facts has been presented by GMHR that the training period of the new recruits is 50,000 hours. That the 50,000 hours will be spent on training the new people we will be recruiting. During this period, their productivity will be 60% of the experienced workers, right? Their productivity will be 60% because they are new, they are still learning. Time required by an experienced worker is 10 hours per unit. So what about the experienced worker? Experienced worker is making 10 hours per unit. So they are taking 10 hours for 1 unit, right? Now, if I talk about the experienced worker, now in this 50,000 training hours, how many units an experienced worker would have produced? In that 50,000 hours, how many units that experienced worker would have produced? That is 5,000 units. Yes. This is about the experienced worker. Now, what about the new worker? How many units the new worker will be making here? He says the new worker will have, during this training period, they will have a efficiency of 60%. That is 60% of 5,000 units. So this new worker will be making only and only 3,000 units. Right? Clear with this? So this is the interpretation till now. Next, they say 20% of the output during the training period was defective. The cost of rectification of the defective unit is 25 rupees. Now, out of this 3,000 units, 20% of it got defective, right? And you have to incur a rectification cost, right? Okay, sir, fine, we'll see. Potential productive hours lost due to delay in the recruitment was 1 lakh hours. These are what? Because there was a delay in the recruitment, these 1 lakh hours were the potentially productive hours. Had there been no labor turnover, you could have produced a good number of units in this 1 lakh hours. But now because of the labor turnover, this 1 lakh hours is a loss now, right? So this is a loss again. Fine, sir. Selling price per unit is rupees 180 and PV ratio is 20%. Okay, so what will be the contribution here? What will be the contribution or the profit? That will be 20% of 180. Right? Contribution is what? Contribution is a sort of profit that tells us that whether we are earning sufficient amount by selling the product, and after recovering my variable cost, whether I have sufficient amount left to pay my fixed operating cost, whether I have that or no, right? Settlement cost of the workers leaving the organization is 1,83,480. Recruitment cost was 1,56,340. Training cost was 1,13,180. You being the associate finance to the GMHR has been asked the following: how much quantity of the output is lost due to labor turnover? How much is the quantity lost? See here, from here, can we say that because of the labor turnover, the loss of quantity is 2,000 units? Loss of quantity is 2,000 units because the experienced worker would have produced 5,000 units, whereas the new worker, which is appointed due to the labor turnover, he is going to manufacture only 3,000 units. So there is a loss of 2,000 units, one loss. Another thing is this 1 lakh hours which are lost, right? So we can say loss of units for 1 lakh hours, loss of units for 1 lakh hours as per the experienced worker. Now divided by 10, that is 10,000 units. An experienced worker would have produced 10,000 units in this 1 lakh potentially productive hours. That means had there been no labor turnover, we could have produced 10,000 units in this 1 lakh hours. So what is the total loss? Total loss is this 2,000, which is due to the recruitment, due to the training because they are inexperienced, and this 10,000 is due to the delay in recruitment, right? So total loss here will be 12,000 units. Total loss will be 12,000 units, out of which 2,000 is because they are under training and 10,000 is because of the delay in the recruitment. So the answer here will be 12,000 units. That is option C. Is that clear? Next one. How much loss in the form of contribution the company incurred due to the labor turnover? Now, what is the contribution? The contribution here says for every 1 unit, your contribution is how much? That is 180 and 20% of it is 36 rupees. There is a contribution, the company is earning a contribution of 36 rupees for every 1 unit. Now, what is the number of units lost? The number of units lost is 12,000. So what is the total loss of contribution here? That is on 12,000 units multiplied by 36. That comes to 4,32,000, option A. This is the loss that is there. Now, what is the cost of repairing the defective units? How much are the defective units here? That is 20% of this 3,000. These are the defective units. That is 600 units. Yes, these are 600 units. So for these 600 units, what is the cost incurred? He says the rectification cost is 25 rupees. Right? So the rectification cost is how much? On 600 units multiplied by 25, that comes to rupees 15,000. So this will be your cost of rectification of the defective units, right? That is option B that we have. Is that clear, everyone? Now calculate the profit lost by the company due to the increased labor turnover. Total profit lost. What is the loss here? 4,32,000 is the contribution loss. Then this cost which is incurred, 183, 480, 156, 340 and 113, 180. All these are what? All these are the cost related to the labor turnover. So this is a profit loss for the company because they have to incur a certain extra cost, right? So it comes to 4,32,000. That is the contribution loss, right? Then they have 1,83,480. That is your recruitment cost is there, settlement cost is there, then recruitment cost of 156,340, 156,340. After that, we have the training cost of 113,180, 1,13,180. So take the total of all this, 4,32,000 plus 1,83,480 plus 1,56,340 plus 1,13,180. So that comes to, sorry, there is one more cost which is there, sir. There is one more cost which is there. What is that cost, sir? This rectification cost. This rectification cost plus 15,000, that is a rectification cost. So this will come to 9 lakh rupees. This total will come to 9 lakh. Right? Because rectification cost is what? It is due to the labor turnover only. They are making the defective units during the training period. And for those defective units, we have to incur the this cost 15,000, which is your rectification cost. So this rectification cost is again a part of your loss. The company has to incur. It will directly impact your profit and loss account. Then he says how much of the quantity of the output is lost due to the inexperience of the new worker. Due to the inexperience of the new worker. See here, whether this 10,000 is due to inexperience of the worker? No. This 10,000 is because of the delayed recruitment. The worker is not there. The worker is not recruited. That is why this loss is there. Now, due to the inexperience, the number of units lost is 2,000 units, right? So the answer here is option C, that is 2,000 units. So that's it. With that, the labor costing case study is done. A very simple case study, but at the same time, very, very important. And important from what? Important not only from the case study perspective, but important also from the practical problem perspective, right? And this question has been asked in the examination as a practical problem in the past, right? So it is not like if it is a case study, they will ask only in the case study form, they can ask it in the practical form also. So you have to be ready for anything, whether it comes in the case study or whether it comes in the form of a practical, you should be ready with it. And for that, the most important thing will be your conceptual clarity. Then the second will come how you apply those concepts, like in the material costing case study we did, right? So all the best for your preparations. Thank you so much. With this, we are done with the labor costing. Next, we'll be doing overhead costing case study.